The NBL has delivered, as it always does, drama day in, day out. And the Brisbane Bullets, well, they're bringing it yet again. We're going to crack into everything that happened across the weekend, across the week, and even the news that's been breaking today. But let's welcome in the panel first, Damon Lowry, Derek Rucker, who joins us this week, is Peter Hooley. Somehow he's getting a day off when his wife had the baby.
Well, congratulations to Pete and Dom. Thank you, Damon, for the applause. But look, Pete, I'm more than happy to fill in, as you know, but let's get to the basketball. Round 9 was fascinating.
Absolutely fascinating. Before we do, happy belated birthday. How old was it?
Thank you very much, man. I'm 58 of your human years.
58. Now, you put in a lot of work. You run mile after mile at 58. And I think you wouldn't have looked out of place with ACDC last night. I went to that concert at the MCG, and it has me thinking now, anyone who is 25 years of age and is on a minutes restriction, if you could see Angus Young out there doing a 20-minute guitar solo at the ripe age of 150, I don't want to hear that stuff. I am now firmly with you in the camp. I want to see Will Magnay playing 150 minutes per game from now on. But let's crack in, because the Illawarra Hawks, it wasn't pretty.
Where's your little mascot?
Now, you know what? I asked Tom Hawk if he wanted to come in. He's not feeling too well. He's under the weather today. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I don't know how else to say it. I was not expecting that. I was so hyped for that game. Sellout crowd at the sand pit, arch rivals. It's the hate they gut series, and they laid an egg. I couldn't believe it. Laid an absolute full credit to the Kings though, because I told you like last week, them dudes was coming.
They're coming. The Kings are absolutely flying at the moment. Derek, you've got an eye for good. What did you see this week?
Well, Felix, as we look at the bird's eye cam, we saw what it takes to start a basketball game and play well on the road. Watch this from the tip. Bullquall attacks Davo Hickey with the basketball, and look at this defense, Damon. This is a Brian Goorjian trademark right there. Hard ball pressure, no fouling, which is rare for Bullquall, and then up and forces a turnover. And this is a key also. I talked in the opener about Cooks being able to make plays off of transition, off of turnovers. That opens the account for Cooks. And then look at Quall. The ball is inbounded. Hickey having problems running the point. He can't find space. No entry passes after 2 possessions by the Illawarra Hawks. So when coaches talk about coming out ready to play, that's how it's done. That's why the Illawarra Hawks struggled all game on the offensive end, primarily due to the way Bullquall came out in those first 2 possessions.
Bullquall is top 2 defensive menaces in the league. Him and John Brown III. The Cairns version of Bullquall, the younger version, was wild and erratic, but you could see the bones of what he could be. Now he's matured. He is an absolute nightmare on defense. He picks up 92 feet. He's not fouling, like you said, and then he's still making shots on the other end of the floor. He's completely disruptive. He does not get involved in pushing and shoving. And if the offense is trying to get him off of him, it doesn't seem to worry him. He is elite.
He is. And last season, let's be fair, he struggled with a knee injury. His training time was limited because they were just trying to nurse him through so that he was able to play in games. But this year, we're starting to see the full bloom of him. Offensively, he's coming around. The 3 games in the lead up to this one, he was very good on that end of the floor. He really wasn't required to score yesterday, but his defense was outstanding, and now the Kings look really tough.
And it's not just Bull on the defensive end, because you raised it before in the green room. They're shutting down superstars, whether it be guards in Bryce Cotton or bigs in JaVale McGee. Their game plan overall, their defensive strategy is locked in right now.
Well, that's so true. And the thing about Sydney is they have all these Panther-like athletes. They've got Galloway. They've got Bullquall.
Malawatch.
They've got Malawatch. They've got Quatnoy. They've got Cooks. And then it makes... That was crazy, that pass there. I don't know what Hickey was thinking there. But when you allow them to get out and run and take pressure off of their half-court offense, that's a problem.
There's been a theme to Justin Tatum's press conferences this year. Let's see if it continued the other day.
Me putting our finger on whatever it is multiple things. So, you know, we ball watch a lot. We give up 26 turnovers. They were out rebounding us for a minute until, you know, maybe the last 2 minutes of the game. And then our shot selection. You know, we allow them to be physical with us and being able to push us out of our stuff that we wanted to do. And we forced a lot of things. So it was a lot of inconsistency on both ends of the floor for us.
No direct reference to JaVale McGee, but it has been the talking point for the Illawarra Hawks is how he's guarded, especially when it comes to physicality.
Now, look, JaVale, that was not his best game, clearly. 9 points, 9 rebounds, fouls out. Okay. But I was noticing when he started guarding Tim Suarez first, that's not because everybody wants to bring JaVale out to the key, which is smart. So they just moved JaVale over to guard Xavier Cooks. Problem is, Xavier Cooks wants to put the ball on the floor, and he's very agile. So, yes, there's not always going to be a matchup for a 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain-like dude. But on the other end of the floor is where he got to make teams pay for it. So, okay, everybody's kind of picking on his defense like there's a whole bunch of him running around. There's always going to be a mismatch, but on the other end, if they can't make them pay, then that's when they get in the negative.
Well, I thought Sydney did a good job in figuring out different ways to attack JaVale on the defensive end. Sometimes they went on the pass and doubled. Sometimes they rotated late. Sometimes they were hedging and digging in. I thought they kind of confused McGee with the coverages. But as you say, the area in which I thought Illawarra had really improved was on the offensive end and incorporating him into their offense, allowing him to be productive without dominating usage, and other guys are contributing. That was non-existent yesterday.
What about this one?
What?
Are the Kings better? I reckon you know exactly where I'm going to go right now. Are the Kings better without Daly out there?
I'm happy to
Be careful, Bryce.
Wait, look. What? I'm just saying, look.
I'm just saying.
No.
Be careful.
And that's not a knock on Daly at all.
No.
It's team makeups are a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
They are a better team with Dele in it. Like, I mean, let's not be ridiculous.
Right.
But I'm not going to say that Dele needs to be playing 32-plus minutes a game. I would like to see him sharing minutes with Sean Bruce. Like, I don't see what Dele's doing that Sean Bruce can't give you. Sean Bruce gives you better shooting, just as good as defense. Dele's a tremendous leader, and we know his work. I'm just saying he's not young Dele no more. So, but Kendrick stays Kendrick. And then you just split the minutes between those other two.
Well, that was the first game we got to see Kendrick exclusively run the point. Basically, the functioning of that offense was due to how he was going to handle himself at the point guard position, and he did a fantastic job. Now, getting to Dele, how do we get him back into the lineup? I've got a blueprint. You saw what Alex Caruso did last season with OKC, where they nursed him through the regular season to ensure that he was ready for the postseason. I think that is a good approach for the Sydney Kings because Dele is going to be hugely valuable at some point. He is a game winner in championship series. He's proven that over the past two. So it's not a matter of right now. I think it's about forecasting down the line.
And it's also, it's not about starting and coming off the bench. It's about minutes played. So as long as Dele is getting anywhere between 20 and 25 minutes, he will have an impact. I would start Kendrick at the 1,
right?
Jalen Galloway at the 2, Bull Quall, Xavier Cooks, Tim Suarez. That's my starting 5.
I hate to agree with you, but I like it.
Hey, what about no Daly, no Bruce? Ty Robertson really took advantage of his opportunity.
Man, my man from Warrendike, T-Rob. Hey, look, this dude has not played any basketball hardly this season. 5 DNPs this season. Dele's hurt, Sean Bruce is out, and what does he do? Comes off the bench, 4 of 7 from deep in 19 minutes of action. I'm talking about not even hesitating. Tyler Robertson has always been a good basketball player. He's one of those guys, and I know comparison is a thief of joy, Derek, but do you see a little bit of Frank Drimmick, a 6'7" guard, and you go, what position is he? I don't know. Is he a 1, 2, 3? He can play a whole bunch of stuff. He's very skilled, can shoot the ball, strong, has done his 4 years in college. He is not a kid. So I like that he brought what he brought to the table, but especially his attitude. Do you know how many guys go on the bench and just soak it up, cry and moan about when is it my turn? That dude is the first one off the bench, clapping, cheering his teammates, the right attitude. I'm just happy to see him succeed.
Well, he's a high-caliber shooter, and to think that he's been in the league almost a season and a half and never really gotten the chance to prove his worth as a shooter, and for it to happen yesterday in that big moment was great. And also, he's just a high-character person. I've covered a lot of Sydney Kings games, and I see how he carries and conducts himself, and you're right. He has a great team attitude, and I think this success is going to boost his confidence proportionally more than it should have. And now Brian Goorjian can have some confidence and know, hey, you know what? I can put this dude in the game at any time, and he can go whack.
But let me say this, too, though.
Say it.
Tyler Robertson, future, probably is not with the Kings. They're too deep at that position. They got like 6'7" dudes. What if
this isn't the marketplace? No one's talking about that right now. This is overtime. What are you talking about?
I love Ty Robertson, but that's far too much time talking about him right there. That's all positive, but there was a pretty tough incident during the game. Now, we ummed and ahed about whether we would show this because we don't like to promote violence in our game. And unfortunately, Xavier Cooks just took it way too far in this instance.
Okay, so they're complaining there is a push. We can go for potential act of violence review.
And we look at this, and look, it's just disgusting. It is disgusting to see. It is just, someone could have got seriously hurt, and I'm glad that it was deemed an act of violence, Derek, because, that's almost worth suspending someone for the entire year.
Damon, what do we think about Davo's response?
Oh, look, it was cheeky. It was cheeky. I mean, he went and got scans after the game. He's cleared of any ACL and anything. But it was just cheeky. Them two dudes are teammates, gold medal teammates from the Asia Cup, man. So it was just some fun.
An act of violence.
I know you're appalled by the fact that the referees didn't get it right, Fields. Is that what's really eating at you? Get it off your chest. Go ahead.
There are so many things going on, and I'm always backing up the officials as much as I can. But
really?
my God, for that to be deemed an act of violence, where are we as a society, Derek?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Disrespectful to real acts of violence.
Yeah. God forbid Montrez comes back into the league and something happens there, because he's doing that all game. Hey, what about the Adelaide 36ers? We hyped him up all during the preseason. I just mentioned Montrez. After losing him, they're starting to find their feet a little bit, 2-2 on the weekend.
Man, I'm telling you, they went and did it, Derek.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel any sense of justification? Because you did say they needed firepower, and what did they go out and do? They signed a dude that can provide firepower.
Matty Weston and Grant Kelly went out, and you said it too, Derek, in early. As soon as Bryce became a citizen, you said get an import straight away. Now, they went and got the right guy. The absolute right guy, Troy Brown Jr., 6'7", 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the positions he play. Now the pressure is off Bryce. Now Bryce is still Bryce. Make no mistakes about that. But now they got so much versatility, so much depth. I don't see firepower. I don't see any flaws now in their offensive structure, in their offensive roster.
Well,
I don't see one.
Well, you look at the build out now. Guess what you got to do? You got to figure out a way to check Bryce one-on-one. And we know what happens when you try and guard him one-on-one. Well, he gives you 40+. Well, and so just having Troy Brown out there, I think, is going to open up the possibilities for Bryce. And Troy Brown Jr. is a very good basketball player. In 23 minutes, he had 9 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, and he was a team-leading +13.
Legitimate NBA guy as well. I know that anyone who's even touched the floor of the G League, they come out here and they say, NBA superstar. This guy's actually played some legitimate minutes throughout there. Now, the Cairns Taipans, surely they take Adelaide right to the brink. You're going to find a positive, aren't you?
The positive was Jack McVay. That's the positive. Now, I felt they had this game, but the problem is they get in their own way. 2 very, very poor games by imports, Admiral Schofield and Andrew Andrews. Things was going okay for them, and then they can't help themselves. At some point, Andrew Andrews is going to feel like, I think I'm just going to go to work right now. Nobody touches the ball. Bad shot after bad shot. And I said during the call, he started off the game great. Early, distributing the ball, getting everybody involved. Because when he does this, that was the hot hand. Ooh. Jack McVay was rolling, and then I said, the best version of themselves is when the ball's moving and they go into the hot hand. Jack McVay was having a career night. But then the default, it's like, okay, now it's my turn. Pound the life out of the ball, 10, 12 dribbles, run a ball screen early, jack up a bad shot, completely kill the momentum. I felt like that game was there to be won. You don't get that many chances to be the top team.
And a couple of things. Mojave King was playing very well in a supplementary role to what Jack McVay was doing. Mojave finished with 21 points. But do you think Andrew Andrews falls into import productivity syndrome? The pressure to get points and try and win and have an influence on the basketball game other than sitting back and allowing things to happen and running the team.
And we've seen a lot of that over the years. It's not about numbers. It's about, does your team win? I said it's about Terrence Armstrong early in his career. I say, hey, man, you get some good numbers, but you're losing. So I want to see if you can impact winning. And right now, Andrews, he did, like I said, he showed it to us in the first half, but in the second half, he went back to his default.
You made the point about getting Jack McVay the ball, especially when he's the hot hand. Is that on Adam Ford? Is that on his teammates? Or is that on him to understand, hey, I'm the $1 million man here. I've got to go up the top and get the ball?
It is on the guard. We from that school. It's from the point guards. Now, if the point guard isn't doing it, it's up to everybody else on the team to go, hey, point guard, what are you doing? That is not the shot.
Right.
Get that guy this shot. And then you saw what Jack McVay did. When he got double-teamed, he's passed the ball out to everybody.
And it's also dependent on who your guy is, okay? So you can give the ball to Bryce and be like, Bryce, let's go to work. But with Cairns, I believe that they need to get the ball to McVay out of system the majority of times. And then once he gets going, okay, then you can throw him the ball in ISO situations. So it definitely varies from star to star.
You mentioned that Adelaide's roster, top through bottom right now, you can't find too many holes in it. Are you comfortable with the starters that they're putting out there right now? Kenyon over DJ on the bench?
100%. 100%. And here's why. Matt Kenyon is a phenomenally better defender than DJ. That is not no. Have I said something that we don't know? Matt Kenyon went out there and took out Bryce Hamilton in Tasmania. He is a junkyard dog. Now the only thing is when he spaces the floor, he's not going to make too many shots. That's okay. He plays that role great. You got to get off to a good start on defense. Now I'm going to start Troy Brown Jr. over Matt Kenyon eventually. Now your bench is DJ, Kenyon, Isaac White, Rakocevic. Where's the flaws now? As long as guys got the right attitude, because when Troy Brown Jr. comes, everybody says we're all about winning. We'll do whatever it takes to win. Will you? We will now see. Are you going to have an attitude problem because all of a sudden you play a little bit less minutes? I'm telling you, when the championship photo is taken, everybody's like this.
Yeah.
And can't nobody tell how many minutes people played.
Well, you know that firsthand.
The championship part?
Yes.
The part that you don't know?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But when you look at that starting five potentially, Cotton, Troy Brown Jr., Cheatham, and Isaac Humphries, and Flynn Cameron. Okay. 4 of those guys could legitimately be in the NBA or are marginal NBA talent. Okay, and then you throw Flynn Cameron out there, who is a very good basketball player and a young developing professional. I think that lineup is championship level.
Yeah, we got to get emotionally prepared for the 36ers to possibly win a championship.
They're playing with 4 imports.
I know. We need to prepare ourselves.
I just can't believe that you copped a championship photo straight when I played all of 0 minutes and I was the one right up the back of that championship photo doing that, but somehow you're copping it. It's time for an Ain't No Cupcake League.
Oh, here we go.
Rest in peace, Corey, Homicide Williams. And I'll tell you what, this could be the last time I ever do this because I'm playing a very, very dangerous game. I am attempting to cupcake our fearless leader in Larry Kesselman. Now, I don't want to yuck anyone else's yum, but what was happening with this mascot appeared to be a little bit untoward. Now, there's certain venues where this stuff happens. I didn't think it was going to be John Cain Arena.
Oh, no.
He's getting all up in that thing. And look, even worse. I hope that's the tail. I hope he's wearing that mascot suit the right way around. Anyway, it was nice working with you.
You're on your own, Felix. You are on your own.
Oh, God. Pete always wanted to
Can we do this show just ourselves?
You're guilty by association. You guys are as well.
Speaking of which, we love a studio show, and Felix does a great job with Hools and Lennard Wednesday nights at the Ignite Cup, but sometimes he doesn't always get it right.
Well, you've just labelled him a snitch, so he ain't going to want to talk to you, but hopefully he wanted to talk to Ariana a bit earlier.
I've often wanted to
Let's see how long I can look down the camera until eventually Ariana picks up. Sometimes in broadcast, it just doesn't happen like that.
Take a cue.
You know what?
When you don't hear anything, let's move it on. Let's get it going.
But you know what a good broadcaster does? They never blame their producer. So I would never blame my producer, Luca Urso, for doing that. I would never blame Luca for not throwing to the piece because it wasn't Luca Urso of Jam TV's fault. Of course, it certainly wasn't his fault at all. It was
we
all
love
me.
you, Luca. We
all
love
Luca.
you, Larry.
Hey, look, what about our man Olgan? He's a very important man in the basketball world. ESPN's own Olgan. Olgan's strolling through with a backpack full of bombs to drop. He says, "Oh, who's these guys? They want a photo with me because I'm Olgan."
Oh, no.
Oh, wait. Can you take it of us, whoever you are? We just see some dude strolling by. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, my God.
That's all right, Olgan. We still know your work, man. You're very much valued.
Yeah, what's
It's
that,
too much.
Larry? Yeah, no, I'll be in the office shortly. Sorry, I'll be there. Hey, we're going to be back. Hopefully, I'll be back talking all things Brisbane after the break.
Welcome back to Overtime, and due to some unfortunate comments by...
No. No, they tried to
That was all right, man. That felt good. Something felt right about it.
Right?
I got a little nervous then. Because he did look pretty good when he was doing that. But no, they tried to sack me in the ad break, but I said, no. Tassie have lost 5 games in a row. I am not let that one slip. I am staying here for at least this segment. Right now, nothing going right for the JackJumpers.
Nah, man, the island is completely and utterly, everybody's running amok on the island now. It's over with for them. And I don't want to say for the entire season because still David Johnson is going to play again. But now Will Magnay is out. So they just do not have enough healthy, offensively talented bodies to be able to go up against. This league is tough. You just can't just roll up anybody. So, yeah, I kind of feel for them. They still playing with the right kind of passion and spirit. But, Derek, at some point, you just need some troops.
Yeah, well, if you can't put any pressure on the scoreboard, it makes it very hard to win. And it looks like they have lost that home court advantage that they had. Losing 5 in a row at home, obviously 2 of those games weren't lost, and so we don't really count those too much. But they need their troops back. And with the way the league is, every year it gets tougher, and talent is imperative. And right now, on the offensive end, they just don't have enough.
Well, what's the solution there? Because obviously they're going to have to find a way to do something. Is it you just let Ben Air run amok? What do you do?
You gotta. I've been saying this for a few weeks now. You gotta loosen the reins on this Jackie Way style of play. This methodical, slow the ball down, swing it, swing it, swing it. You just gotta let guys like a Bryce Hamilton just go. Get a rebound, just go, man. Put some shots up in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. It's not gonna kill you because you can't generate enough offense.
And I think Tiger Hamilton needs to read the game and be more aggressive.
Campbell.
Sorry, Tiger. Yes, Tiger Campbell.
Hey, that'd be quite the play.
You're trying to make a player.
Maybe that's what they need to
third
do.
import. But they need to find a way to get him going. And I think, we discussed before, is it about the system or is it about the player? I think this one, he needs to internally drive it and take that burden upon himself. Get 10 points in the first quarter. Go out there and make some things happen.
Well, he shot the ball well against Adelaide. He finished with 20 points. But again, then he might sit over because of Ben Air and Nick Marshall. He might sit for 5 minutes. So like I'm saying, I think you got to get your studs. Hamilton, Tiger Campbell, Josh Bannon, you 3 dudes, kind of like what Adam Ford did with Kansas. You 3 are playing 30 minutes, and I'm going to just rotate around you 3.
Well, let's see what Scott Roth said in his presser, because he's always relatively entertaining. I hope he wasn't rude to a journo, though.
I don't know how much you learn by losing, but ultimately, we just don't have enough bullets in the chamber to score enough points consecutively to put scoreboard pressure on, and they played well, so it is what it is.
Is there something you can work on with that to obviously keep that score level not as high as it is, to make sure that doesn't happen, or make sure they play the full 4 quarters?
Yeah, you don't cover basketball very much, do you? And it's the ebb and flow of the games and what your roster dictates. And if you come to our practices and watch those, you might understand a little bit more about the nature of the beast. And, I'd love to have scoreboard pressure on them and play better. And we haven't been able to do that.
I didn't like it. But you know what? I'm going to let Scott Roth off the leash here because you've lost 5 games in a row. It's tough at the moment. You can let off a little steam. It just sucks the little young Max Becker was on the receiving end of that one.
I don't have a major problem with that one, to be honest with you. I mean, he asked the question. Scott explained thoroughly, we don't have enough bullets in the chamber. And then you ask the question, what can you do? What am I supposed to say?
Do you reckon I'm looking for a problem?
Yeah. What's he supposed to say? Get more bullets? Give me another gun? I mean, you can't keep asking the similar kind of questions.
Right.
I feel for the dude, obviously, but no, man.
But I like when coaches stay true to themselves. This is who Scott Roth is. If you expect anything else, then that's your fault. And he's always going to be very direct. And after a loss, he's probably not going to be in the best mood. He's not in the mood for suffering, sorry, Max, fools.
And Max is not a fool by any stretch of that thing. He just caught Scott Roth on a bad mode. What about Tassie's next 4? Because we said this could get nasty, considering we've mentioned before, no Will Magnay, they do not have the bullets, and they've got some good teams coming up against.
That's tough.
Those could be 4 L's. But, again, this is NBL 26. Somebody can lose in that group. New Zealand Breakers, they've already proven that they're kind of up and down. You don't know which Breakers team going to line up. So I won't be surprised if Tassie went 1-3.
Look, there are a few coaches in this league that can coach winning streaks, and Scott Roth is one of those. So he just got to kind of stay around that 7-8 mark until they get all their people back. Now, my biggest concern with the injury is Will Magnay, because the bone bruising in the knee is always a tricky one. It's hard to actually get an exact point of return, but they've got to get him back if they want any chance with this constructed lineup.
Every year we have a certain team within the league that is the best friend of magazine shows because they provide us with so much content we can film these programs with. Now, this year, it's the Brisbane Bullets. Last year, it was the Adelaide 36ers. We just look at the last week they've had. Wednesday, they lose Casey, unfortunately, and we're going to break that down. Friday, they sack MVP Jaylen Adams. And today, somehow, Javon Freeman-Liberty is coming back to the league after being released. I personally have not seen that in my time in the NBL.
Well, you look at their record last season and this season. They are 17-25. And Damon, you've heard me say it before. I love drama when it ain't mine. And
which is rare.
Good one. And this team and franchise must be paying some type of karmic debt because they get injuries. They get all types of things happening. They cannot maintain a consistent lineup to put out there on the court. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. I know they lose a lot, but it's hard to really make a judgment on what this team could potentially be because they don't get a consistent number of bodies out there from game to game.
They just can't get right. They just can't get right. Sam McDaniels, that's what started the whole thing. Then Javon Liberty. Then Mitch Norton. Casey Prather. Javon Liberty's now come. Jaylen Adams up and down all season. The one mainstay was Tyrell Harrison. He's the one guy go, Torrey Smith-Milner, another one is hurt, So, yeah, what can you do at training sessions? You can imagine the quality must be pretty low at training. But yet they still come out and they will give you some good quarters of basketball. They're not throwing in the towel. They're not laying down for teams. The Melbourne United, they scared the bejesus out of them dudes late. So I still respect how they're going about it with whoever they do have on the floor.
Do you think it was the right move to get rid of Jaylen Adams at this point in the season? Now, I'm not aware of the ins and outs of his contract, but that's at this point of the season, with someone that probably had an airtight contract, that's an expensive move.
So I'm on record as saying I would have released Jaylen Adams after the Melbourne United game when he had the big second half.
Yeah.
Okay? But they didn't do it at that point, so they persisted with him. I would not have cut him last week. I would have gotten through the FIBA break, I would have put him back in the starting lineup.
That's first.
And then I would have tried to kind of rehabilitate him into the program as a starter over the FIBA break and avoid any type of payout and all that type of stuff that might impact me financially. Now, they didn't do that. They've got 3 new imports, and now they get to use the FIBA break to build again. But, Damon, it is a lot to ask. Effectively, they will have played with 7 imports this season before we even got to Thanksgiving.
It's unheard of. It's unheard of. Jaylen, after whatever he did that got him benched in the first place, he came off the bench and they won 2 games and he was great. They come back from New Zealand, and I forget the other team they beat. They should have put him back in the starting lineup. Again, I don't know the behind-the-scenes stuff, but if he was ever going to do it, it was then. But after a while, when Mitch Norton came back and then he jumped into the starting lineup, Jaylen Adams was like this, y'all just don't give a damn about me. Like, whatever it is, you still have to be able to manage a player. I keep saying, it's the non-sexy part of coaching. It's player management. You just can't expect him to come off the bench every single game for the rest of the season.
And let me explain something about that, too, because fans are like, his attitude, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm not going to be entirely hypocritical because I didn't always have the best behavior when things didn't go my way as a player either. I remember there were times where I had to come off the bench maybe due to injury, and I wanted to start, and I would throw a diva fit because I was like, that's my starting spot. And part of the reason why Jaylen Adams has gotten to where he is, a former league MVP, is because of his self-belief and that drive to want to be out there. Ego does push you, but then the flip side is it can also get you in trouble.
Do we think Terry Taylor, which is an incredibly American name, by the way, Terry Taylor, absolutely love it. Do we think that he's going to be able to do enough for Brisbane?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I haven't seen the guy, but I don't like to sign him because Lamar Patterson is right here.
Yeah.
What's the dude got to do to get a job?
Well, obviously not enough, David. He had 18 points the other day against Melbourne United.
He's already had a game winner in New Zealand.
Right.
He's averaging 20 minutes a game.
Loves being in Brisbane.
Gives you 50% shooting, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, he's a point forward. Ooh. He's kind of like Xavier Cooks except with a jump shot. He has that kind of impact at that point forward position. But yet he cannot get a full roster spot as an import.
And he is a permanent resident now, so he's knocking on the door of citizenship, and he could potentially be a very valuable player. and he's done a great job. We are on his case for years about losing weight. He did that. He looks much better. People can pick and choose and find holes in everyone's game, but he is a really good basketball player who understands what being in Queensland is about. He's one of the few players that has a real attachment to the community. I think it's a slight towards Lamar, and if I'm Lamar, I'm starting to make some calls elsewhere and prepare myself to play with another team because he's a valuable piece.
I'm calling Adam Ford.
Okay, Mr. Agent.
Call 40.
Hey, with all the issues that are going on in Brisbane, Stu Lash managed to find yet another one.
I'm having a hard time on the foul count. Our guys are not getting the same level of respect as others in this league do. 36-11. They hold, they grab. Tyrell gets no calls. Challenge on Walker is clearly a foul. Mitch Norton's played in this league for 15 years. He gets thrown into the baseline. It is what it is. But there has to be some explanations.
Look, I don't mind it. I think they did get a pretty bad whistle in the game. I don't think when you actually watch it back, it does feel like a bit of an excuse, Damon, and I can see you looking at me like you're about to punch me because I'm potentially backing an excuse here, but I do think that they got a poor whistle in that game.
Go, Damon.
No,
Respect, okay? How do you get respect? You get respect in this league by having an identity. You get respect in this league by being good on the defensive end. You get respect in this league by having just that essence about you that says we are here to win basketball games and we are a serious program. Referees, they see everything that we see. What do you think? They're under some type of gag order? They can't read the media? They don't know what's going on? So I hear where Stu Lash is coming from, but it's probably best not voiced because you're not going to garner any pity from anyone. And you've only made the playoffs one time in 9 years since returning to the league.
You're a rookie coach. You've never done this before. And you're asking stuff that a seasoned veteran coach would ask. Now, if that was Brian Gorgon doing something like that, I could go, oh, Brian's playing the referees. He's trying to, Justin Tatum, maybe he's trying to work the refs to get a few calls. They've all done that, right, at the right times. But to go into a press conference, like I said last time he did this, like there's bigger fish to fry, and I don't think that's the way to go about it. I am very proud of how calm I am in this moment right now because I cannot stand that. If I'm the player sitting there, I don't need you to ask for nothing on my behalf. I'm going to go out there and take it. If you don't give it to me, I will just continue going forward until I get it, until I take what I want. Don't lobby for me. I just can't handle that part.
But in the same breath that you said the gamesmanship of Brian Gorgon or Justin Tatum, they go out and do that. I see what Stu Lash is doing there is no different. He knows that if he goes out and makes a point of it, I guarantee you next game there's going to be a couple of holding calls.
Okay. Let's mark that and see what happens this round. But also, who are you playing? You're playing against the standard of excellence. You're playing against Melbourne United. You think you're getting any calls playing against Melbourne United on their home court? Look, applaud your guys. Praise them for coming back and not giving up. Don't hit the referees. I thought that was a negative way to go about it when there was plenty of positive output that was to be spoken about.
We've seen Josh King go into a press conference, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and go, the free throws, wow, that's interesting, and keep moving. That's his way. But, you don't see him in there looking like he's ready to cry about it and just carrying on too much about it. So, look, they got to incorporate a new import. Terry Taylor's coming in, start all over, and just, like I said,
however,
leave that bit alone.
I will give Stu Lash credit because he has instilled a lot of confidence in those newcomers, in Dukas and Devers, and who's the other one I'm missing? Murray.
Yeah.
And those guys are playing better than what I had anticipated coming into the season. So, there are some things where we knock Stu Lash, but let's be fair and give him a considerable amount of praise for the things that he has done well.
Injuries and stuff considered, I think I'll go on record saying that this is by far a pass mark this season so far for Stu Lash. And that's my opinion. With the injuries, everything that's considered, I'm definitely giving, especially first-year head coach, I'm giving him a pass mark.
I'm not quite there yet, but I can see your point of view.
Certainly. We'll see whether he gets there towards the end of the year. Melbourne United on the back end of this break. Trying to break down the Victorian side of the equation. Melbourne United still sitting pretty up top. They limp over the line. Lamar Patterson tried his best to take them over. Shaylee back in the group. They got it done.
Melbourne United, they had a couple of hiccups, and they still, I thought they played around with that lead a little bit, got a little bit cavalier. But you can see now that Shaylee's back into the lineup, look like he hasn't missed a beat, still in shape, still a defender. They just got to get to the postseason, because I feel like during the regular season, I feel like they've done enough. They took care of Phoenix twice, although they did lose to the Hawks. Look, they got to go on the road and experience what that's like living out of a suitcase for a while, but I just feel like they got all the pieces there still. The bones are there.
It's a tough one because they're getting all these pieces back, and realistically, Damon, they probably have too much talent. Dean Vickerman's got to work out who he starts. He's got to work out what the first line of substitutions look like. He's got to work out Krislovich or Finn Delaney. So there are some little hurdles he's got to get over, but I guess it's a good problem in that they have so many bodies they can go to. Tanner Krebs' minutes have gone strange all of a sudden. So, Melbourne United, while we know that they're the leader, and they are probably the championship favorite, it's not that cut and dry that they're just going to prance into a championship series.
What do you made of Milton Doyle? 28 points against Brisbane. The consistency was the knock on him going into this season, what he needed to find night in, night out. He needs to show this sort of effort.
Yeah, well, he's had a few down weeks. And look, I mentioned this morning on the other show I do, Moments That Matter. Fields, check it out every now and then.
Boo.
He had his fourth child. We know that can be taxing. And then Chris Golden came back. And I just think it affected his rhythm and his flow. But he looked really good the other night with these 28 points, and I thought he shot the ball well. I still think he can probably improve his input on the offensive end from a team efficiency point of view, but he's a valuable player, and his clutch shot-making ability is what's going to pay dividends for United down the stretch.
Come on, man. What are we talking about? They got so much talent. You can just put all those names into a hat and just pull out a guy, he's going to play good.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say that they weren't going to make the finals either last year or was it this year? Which year did he make that crazy comment?
Why are you living in the past? We talking about NBL 26. This current roster that Dean Vickerman has, you can put the names in a hat. Pull out any name, they're going to play some good basketball.
Damon, in our league, talent and money doesn't guarantee you a championship. You know that. I've told you this before.
Listen here, man. That's the second time you done jumped in there now. Now, they got so much talent if you put their names in a hat there. But look, this is the most collectively aggressive Milton Doyle has been since he has been in the league. We've seen glimpses where he might shoot 4 or 5 shots in a game for Tasmania. He is now here dancing with the ball. He's crossing over. This is the most lively he's ever been. But you got to share the backcourt with Tyson Walker, who's a gun. You got to share the backcourt with Chris Golden. You got to share with Dash. They got so much, man. So just because he has one down game, don't go, man, what's wrong with Milton Doyle? I'll tell you what's wrong. Nothing is wrong with Milton Doyle. They just got that much talent. Everybody can't play good every single game.
I didn't say anything
points.
was wrong with him. I just said he had some down games, and I gave the reasons why. But let me tell you this. Do you have who's the starting lineup?
I'm going Doyle at the 1,
Doyle at the 1? Walker.
You going to add... Doyle, good point. Doyle, Tyson Walker, Chris Golding, Finn Delaney, Jesse Edwards.
Okay. No Shaylee.
No.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Damn it, you asked me the question about my team.
Hey, how about we get some sense here?
Yeah.
And I'll go to a comment that Joey Wright made during the week. And I believe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said something along the lines that Tyson Walker is the best guard that he's seen in the NBL.
Okay, I played 3 seasons for Joey Wright. Enjoyed playing for him, so I am going to partially abstain from this conversation, Damon. However, I will mention 2 point guards that played for him. First, C.J. Bruton won a championship for Joey Wright. 2, Jerome Randall, 2017 MVP. I'll leave it at that.
Abstaining Rucker. Partially abstaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm a humongous Tyson Walker fan, and if that's what Joey thinks, that's on him. Tyson Walker isn't the best one I've seen out here, but he's super duper good.
What about Southeast Melbourne Phoenix right now? For me, still hard to really get a gauge. Are they going to be a legit contender? Are they just a solid defensive team? What are they?
I'll tell you what they are. They're the third best team in the league right now. They lost 3 games.
I still can't get
They
a
are
read.
the most underappreciated good team in the league.
Well, I'll tell you what, Damon, when they start
you ain't
giving
telling
out
me nothing.
When they start giving out trophies on November 18, I'll pat you on the back.
What does a team got to do? They 8-3. They've lost to Melbourne United twice, and they lost on the road to Adelaide. The 2 top teams.
Oh,
But
that's not.
But
hey,
that's not enough for you guys.
No, it isn't, because Josh King is here to win a championship. He's not here to be like, oh, we're a really good team, but guess what? We can't beat the best teams.
So if 8-3 ain't enough for you guys,
I'm not saying it's not enough.
7 teams
It
might as
is
well not
enough.
even play no more.
It's fine. It's good, but it's about how do you progress and get better. He's trying to look for more. He wants a championship.
Phoenix hate. This Phoenix hate.
Yeah, I'm sensing that as well.
Third place,
I'm sensing
3
a bit of it.
losses, 8 wins. Not enough for these two. Not enough.
I love the way Josh King's teams play. They're exciting. They've got youth. They've got experience. They've got a guy in his mid-30s who is now one of the best players in the league in Nathan Sobey. They defend. They're aggressive. And they have a sniper that comes off the bench in Angus Glover. There is a lot of appeal about this basketball team. But to say they're satisfied being third in the league just because you say so is crazy
I did not
talk.
say they were satisfied. I'm saying you guys don't appreciate 8-3.
I just gave a number of reasons why I like what they're doing. Glover, bang.
They nice.
They certainly are. What about Angus Glover returning from injury? You mentioned they are such a different team when he's knocking them down from the outside. You talk about X factors across the league. If he's on fire, they're tough to stop.
Their style of play, up and in, full court pressure defense for the whole game, but they got to make shots. If they making 15, 16 threes a game, Derek, that is their formula. Now, if they're shooting bad, that's when they can struggle. And also Jordy Hunt on the inside. If Jordy can stay on the floor and provide a little bit of productivity on a regular basis, I'm not saying nothing huge, 12-5, 12-6, but they got to make shots.
They've got a sneaky game this Thursday night at Brisbane. And with Brisbane kind of feeling themselves a little bit, how do Southeast Melbourne handle their business in that one? Because that's an easy one to look past.
Not just that one. You look at the next 4. Pretty tough.
I don't see Brisbane Bullets troubling the Phoenix. Of course, anything can happen because of NBL 26. But for the most part, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix should be fine. And then they'll be 9-3, and you'll be saying, gee, I just don't know what's going on with the Phoenix.
They could be making the grand final. Man, I'm just used to Melbourne United being the dominant team here. It feels weird having Phoenix playing this well. My rundown says Damon John Brown. Is there something you want to talk about with John Brown III?
John Brown, man. Like, again, I said earlier, John Brown III and Bull Quall are fighting it out for Defensive Player of the Year for me, for mine. Now, John Brown III is a human bear trap. He's a vice grip. You've got next to no chance. He won't even let you catch the ball half the time. He can guard everybody. His relentless. We have not seen this level of relentlessness from a forward like this. Now, he's an import who can still make his mid-range J's from time to time. But I just got to highlight defense. He doesn't have any plays run for him. He's one of those guys that goes, where's their best guy at? Leave him to me. You don't need to come and double team anybody when he's guarding you. You don't need to give hardly any help. That man right there will make you play 4 against 4. I just had to hype him up because I love this defense.
Me too. And for small guards, he's the type of guy we love having play the 4 spot. He screens well on the offensive end. He's rough and rugged. He's a protector. He's an enforcer. And he can play defense in a number of ways. He's really good. He can guard up. He can switch out on the smaller guys. Right now, I think John Brown is clearly the Defensive Player of the Year because he's been consistently better over a longer stretch of the season thus far than Bull Quall.
Hey, whatever. Coin toss, whatever. No,
it's not a coin toss. I just said that John Brown's in front, not Bull. It's not a coin toss.
He's a human bear trap, though.
He's a human bear trap.
Hey,
Vice
but
grip.
He is big and strong.
He reminds me of a defensive quarterback. And we saw it when he was mic'd up for one of the games that they did before the game. It was great access, but he's talking non-stop. Now, some people talk to make noise, me, and some people talk and there's always a reason why they're doing it. You know those guys on court that always be ball, 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 ball. So that means nothing. But he's quarterbacking.
And, Damon, I think he is a good match next to Jordy Hunter. given Jordy Hunter's personality. He's probably not as aggressive with his nature, not a huge extrovert. And so I just really like that psychological match between those two, because Hunter also gives you the length and the rim protection, where John Brown is more at ground level, being really disruptive.
And he's a Josh King guy. Talk about playing for a coach who suits your style to the ground. It's perfect.
To a T. Now, if Southeast Melbourne are hard to read, Perth are even harder to read. Good to chat them on the other side of the break.
Doolittle for another! He's making big buckets!
Patterson falling away. Oh, goodness me! 4-point game off that Lamar Patterson bomb.
Down to 13 at one stage here in the last. Now sits at 19. McVeigh stepping back. That is a tough shot. And that man makes it look easy.
Thank you to Mitsubishi Motors for allowing the players to shoot threes this year, and Bryce Cotton leading the way with 47. It was a bit of a slow start somewhat for Bryce, but now he is really starting to gap the field, and Rain Smith dropping off as well with injury. Christian Doolittle, we saw him in the highlights there. A good win for Perth over New Zealand. I said before we went to the break, they are incredibly hard to read. Where do they sit right now?
It's tough because they lost Jaren Riley, and I think they're going to suffer on the offensive end as long as he's out of the lineup. And reports say that he could be out another 7 weeks, which is putting a lot of pressure on some of the backups there to play that point guard position. But the good thing with Perth is they've improved defensively, but now the onus will shift onto Christian Doolittle to perform like he did the other night, because that's what we expected to see more of thus far.
Christian Doolittle got off to a bit of a slow start, too. He was kind of up and down, but he came alive in this game. New Zealand was looking like they was going to take that when they was playing some good basketball, tied up at the third quarter. And Christian Doolittle said, that'll do. 15 points in the fourth quarter. Just when you forget about it, he can make threes. He can get to his mid-range shot. He's just a complete offensive basketball player. And Dylan Windler was down this game. He just took it upon himself. Rob Lowe, get that step back. Now, look, we're talking about Jaren really being out, and that's a shame because we all love the way he's playing and his contributions, but you forget David Dukes Jr. is the point guard. He can play 30 minutes a game, no problem. Benny Hinchell, Elijah Pepper, they still got enough depth there to make up. We're talking about the guy who wasn't even hardly playing at the start of the season, Jaren Riley. They are 2-0 since David Dukes Jr. showed up to town, and I think they're fine.
Well, I think Duke Jr. is going to give them good scoring punch also, but it's good to see all of a sudden Ben Hinchell starting to come around. He was real slow at the start of this season. I think defensively he's trying to learn how to play with intensity and intelligence. He still needs to limit some of the silly fouls. But look, I don't have Perth as a championship leader or contender, but you never know. As you say, anything can happen in this league.
What are they lacking that makes them not a contender? What is the glaring thing right now that jumps out to you?
The lack of offensive chemistry.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like they don't know where they're going to go with the ball. So JLA can be dominant, and then he cannot get touches. Dylan Windler, who had a quiet game, only one out of a couple this whole season. So, yeah, that's a good point right there. And that's what David Dukes is. The longer he's in the league, the more comfortable he gets. He's still got like another 20 games to go. I feel like they're going to be fine at the back end, and they got firepower off the bench, so I trust their offense.
And I like what the bigs are doing, but they need to ensure that they can keep Windler healthy because he is vital to that team. When we saw how much they can struggle with perimeter shooting when he isn't healthy or having a bad game. But as I said, Aquara's been good. They have to ensure that they continue to feature JLA up front because when he is engaged and he feels appreciated, he's a top 5 player in the NBL.
Let me put a hypothetical to you.
Sure.
If they had Bryce Cotton, if Bryce Cotton had just continued and signed on, do you think they would be in a better position this year than what they are right now? Was the trajectory of the teams they were putting around Bryce and how they were building around him, do you think they'd be better off?
I'll answer this firstly because Damon needs to tread carefully. Look, if Bryce Cotton was on this team, don't even trip. They are a top 3 team. When you bring Bryce in, he puts you in that consideration because he's realistically, who else can score like him?
Ain't nobody.
Who else is a ball initiator? JaVale relies on others to get him the ball. Bryce, you can give it to him, and he's going to initiate playmaking or devastating scoring. So that's why he changes the fortunes of your franchise immediately.
They'd be a top 3 team. Would they win the championship? Don't know. You wouldn't have JLA, and we would still be no Keanu Pinder. We would say, who's the big man?
If we're the 5th, we'd all be drunk. Is that what it is? Something
Along
along
those lines, I can barely get it out. Break, beat the coach next.
Time to check in with all things SuperCoach with Damon Lowry. Beat the coach. Now, I hated this when it first came out. I'll admit. I didn't like the change. Didn't like it one bit, but it has grown on me. And I think it's grown on me because how fiercely competitive you are. And I think you care about this more than very many other aspects in your life that you should probably rank above it, but instead, beat the coach comes first. Now, how many people do you think beat Damon this last week, Derek?
300?
Ooh. Let's have a look. I reckon probably...
How many
at
people
least
played?
10,000, I would
How
say,
many
beat you.
played?
I would say only 1,387 people beat you.
How many registered? Oh, 14,000 of you registered.
Oh.
That means 12,629 of you took an L. That's like a small town. I beat Ulladulla. Everybody, that's like if I went to Ulladulla and just beat the entire city.
It is.
Now look, I want people to register to play. It's so much fun. But look, don't expect to win, but you can still have a lot of fun. Look at my team this week. I got Josh Bannon coming in as vice captain. He's a double-double machine. My boy Mason Peely, you know I got to ride with the Hawks. Jordy Hunter, I need some productivity, big fella. Selby, he's my captain, and I got faith in him, not like these two clowns on my side. And I got Bryce Hamilton, and off the bench, Derek Malawatch.
I hate to say it, but you've done a really good job. And, oh, my God, look at that picture. You look
That's
so
unbelievable. How big is
smooth.
that collar?
Wow.
My
You know
God, this is the biggest collar I've ever seen.
Thanks,
Scanning
Mike.
that QR code.
I
Hopefully
want you
it'll
to take an L so bad. Come on, public. Get out there and spank him.
And that's the thing. If you there's people that, you know, don't take kindly to some of the things that you say. You always hold firm in your opinion. If you don't like Damon, play this game and beat him, because it's the best way to get to him. It will piss him off to no end if you beat him. Hey, Ignite Cup Wednesday, your boys, are they going to be able to take over the 36ers?
Oh, expect a vicious, violent response against Adelaide.
Adelaide Illawarra in Adelaide, a big crowd expected. I'm on the call. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Felix.
Oh, we're going to be there, sitting right over here, or are we going to be on the other side? We're going to be somewhere around here. It's going to be fantastic. You guys have been fantastic. Big news all over the NBL this week, and you know what usually happens? It's going to be a whole lot more stuff that we'll talk about next week. Enjoy the round.